I'm Natalie Parker, and I'm an artist, and what I am going to ask myself today is my why. I want to know, why do I want to be an artist? What is at the core that is driving me to create? Why paint? Why sell artworks? What is it that actually really motivates you beyond being just a painter? You know, why do I do what I do? Because I truly believe that you need to know your why. You need to know why you're getting up early in the morning to paint, why are you driving, why are you constantly thinking about these ideas, why are you researching and marketing and networking. And it can relate to any passion or dream that we have. You need to know your why, because if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, then it's mindless, it's unproductive, and when you hit a wall or a challenge, if you don't know why you do what you do, if you're not really passionate about it or have a core or a purpose and a mission behind what you're doing, then you are going to get stunted or you are going to burn out. And I also feel that there's many people that are in life, we do things and we don't question why we're doing it, and that's mind-numbing, and that's almost like becoming a robot. I think there's so many people, and I'm guilty of this as well, we take on a job and sometimes we just get so caught up in the busyness of life, or the day-to-day tasks, we don't question, why am I even working here? Is this what I want to do? And it's really bold and it's really brave to ask why you do what you do, because sometimes you might find out that's not actually what you want to be doing. So today I'm going to ask myself, why do I want to be an artist? What is it that drives me? And in doing that, I truly believe that God gives every person a talent, a passion, a purpose, something in their core, in their spirit, in their being that they know that they were created to do. And I truly believe that God has created me to be an artist. The reason I say that is because it's been with me for my whole life. From a young child, when you are so you're so innocent and you're so there's things that we do when we're younger that is born in us, that is something that we just love, we naturally gravitate towards it. So I know that when I was a child, I used to paint or draw and sketch for hours. I could just totally zone out. So bright colouring in books, I'd paint and draw flowers and butterflies. I used to love doing the butterfly thing with the paint, and I used to draw butterflies and everything. And my mum used to keep lots of my work, and I could just sit as a girl and do that, and I loved it. And that followed me right through school. At primary school, I remember making this beautiful kite, and I can still remember that photo. There are photos that I remember and things that are stuck in my childhood that all relate to art, because that's what interested me, that's what I liked to do, that's what I thought was fun. And I followed my art right through high school. I left high school and then I went to the Key School of Arts in Wanganui, and I did a Bachelor of Fine Arts there, where I majored in sculpture. And I remember going, I loved art, I love creating, I love drawing, I love bright, bold colours, fun, yummy, warm stuff. And then I remember going to art school and getting a little, like my, I guess I'd always been the top of my art class right through school, right through my community. I won most of the colouring competitions. I won bikes and furniture for my family and everything because of my art, and I loved it. Everyone knew if Natalie McMurtry, back then Natalie McMurtry, entered a colouring competition, that she was going to win, and I did, and it was cool. And I was like the top of my game. I loved it. I was real bright, passionate. And then I went to art school and I thought, yes, it's going to be great. But then I was suddenly put in this pool of other talented artists who they were just as good as me, if not better, and I suddenly wasn't the best anymore, and I didn't know how to sort of deal with that. And then with art school, it's a dangerous place to be for some people, because it is so liberal, and so sort of like, you're really encouraged to delve into your pain to find out why you do what you do, or there's this sort of need that the more tragic your life is, it's very sad, the tragic your life is, the greater your artwork's going to be, and your art needs to be deep and meaningful, and to have a big message and concept behind it, and that is emotionally exhausting, for one. And I remember you get marked on your concept, and if you're like, I majored in sculpture, and my tutor was a male American guy who was very much into sort of traditional sculpture, and so when he's looking at my work, and I am a woman who's talking about feminist woman issues, which is a completely another twist, which I don't even which is what twisted my talent. There's just so much, you just really have to watch it. There's so many mixed messages, and I was taught that, you need to have this deep, meaningful, and if he couldn't understand what I was trying to convey, my concept, then I was marked down, and then you're kind of made to feel like your work isn't right or successful. And so I went through art school, I did pretty well. I came out the other end, and there was this seed of feminism sown into me, which I don't know where it came. My work was dealing with women's issues. I remember looking at the sort of the cliche thing, the corsets, and I'd come from, I remember the title of my interview show was "Can I Have No Pink in That?" And what came from that was that when I come from a family where I am the only girl and I have 3 brothers, and my mum used to give me everything because I was the only daughter. She wanted everything to be pink, and really forced, you have to be a girl on you, and I was, I painted, I drew, I was danced right through all my years at school. I did ballet and everything. I was a real girly girl, and but then I sort of developed in my teenage years this rebellion to pink, because I didn't want to be told who I should be, and I didn't want to be this girly girl. And my end of year exhibition at art school was, I had sewn like 40 pink dresses and had all these mirrors, and you walk through and you suddenly saw yourself in amongst all these pink dresses and these young girl dresses, and you're just suddenly sort of almost suffocated. I was talking about how that suffocated me as a child, but in reality, that's not true. I am a woman, I am a girl, and so what God's put in me, the devil kind of just really twisted at art school, and you just sort of have to. It was just yucky, and so I know that the reason I say that is because the work behind me is pink, and I'm wearing kind of like a pinky top, and I love pink, and most of my works actually have pink in them, because I like to create works that are beautiful, and I was kind of brought into a school where you're kind of taught that aesthetically beautiful work, creating something that's lovely to look at, that's girly, is not really going to be, that's not what a real artist does. They should have deep, meaningful, morbid stuff in their art. And so I came out of art school quite confused, but yet determined to be an artist. I set up a studio with 2 other girls from art school. That lasted about 6 months. And again, I was still just trying to really dig deep into what's my art about, and so I stopped the dream. I found it too hard. I then worked in a cafe, did the traditional let's be an art student and work in a cafe, which is a path that many take, but praise God, worked in a cafe, and then I gave my life back to God. I think that was like in 2004. So I think it was about 6 months after I graduated from art school. I planted myself in Destiny Church, and that's when things started to really turn around, and that's when God really started to work in me and get rid of all those lies that have been put into me about the fact that I'm not a successful artist, or I can't make it, or my art's not conceptual enough, or I can't paint properly, I'm not good enough. All these lies, when I know that back when I was a young, innocent child, God gave me that talent and I loved it, and people loved looking at my work. You know, my mum, of course, mum's always proud, but mum loved my work. I'm winning all these competitions, everyone's telling me how beautiful my work is, and they love the colours. You know, it's the colours that won most of the competitions because they were bright and bold and you saw my work. Yeah, and the reason I say this is because sometimes we are given a dream and the devil is going to work really hard to twist and pervert it. And it's only really just like this morning I've kind of understood this and really just like, man, how did my art get so twisted? Why did I give up on my dream after art school? What happened there? Why do I suddenly believe that I couldn't make it as an artist when there's people out there telling me that I'm really good as an artist, you know, that my work is beautiful? Do I truly believe this? What am I doing? If I'm such a great artist and people, why don't I need to believe this? And why has God given me this talent to paint? What's it about? How am I helping other people? Is it about me just being a great painter, or is it about enriching other people's lives? And so these are really good questions that I've been asking myself, and I'm going to continue to ask myself, because I need to really understand my journey and what God's brought me through. So yeah, I left art school in November 2003, graduated, and then I think it was in May 2004, Destiny Church came to Wanganui, and I had been, the thing about this is that I have had a relationship with God from the age of 9. I gave my heart to God through a Christian camp, and I walked with God right through high school, and then I went to art school, and that's been holy. Like, I didn't have Christian parents to guard me and protect me from what the world was going to offer me, and I got caught up in all of that stuff that you do at art school, and I walked away from God, and things got twisted. But praise God that He still had His hand over my life through that season. So then awesome Destiny Church came, and man, I just knew, you know what, this is God, this is what I need, this is black and white, this is the truth, none of this more, willy-nilly churches. Like, I did go to the occasional church service and stuff when I was at art school. My first year I actually boarded with pastors of a church, but it was just a different, there's a whole nother topic, but it was just a very religious experience and almost turned me off God as such. But once I got planted in Destiny, that's when, that was 12 years ago, and now I am just at the point where I know I'm an artist, I know I'm good at what I do, and I know why I'm going to do this, and God's really had to break some stuff off me. So I gave my heart to God. I continued to work at a cafe in Wanganui. I think it was 2 years after I started working there, my boss left and sold his share of the business, and at the age of 24 I ended up buying, becoming business partner with the other boss and buying into this cafe, and that was exciting. And then I'd set up my own tea company within this time, so I'm still being creative, I'm still working hard, I'm still building, and all these skills are important, but I'm not painting, I'm not drawing. The art dream is gone. So I did that for a season, and then I moved to Rotorua, where I worked as a personal assistant for a chiropractor for 2 years. Also great skills that I learnt there, which help me now. My husband runs a business, and I'm now able to be the best PA for him ever. do all his GST and all that kind of stuff, and so God really has had his hand on my life there. But I got to the point, I think I worked there for a couple of years where I was frustrated. The desk job bored me, and I had actually, in that time when I was in Rotorua, I lived in a house down the bottom, a beautiful flat down the bottom of a home that I was living in, the family upstairs, but outside our house was this beautiful magnolia tree, and I remember just looking at flowers and being, oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. I get really excited about them, and then I remember I would start to draw them, and then I started painting again. And then one morning I was having breakfast and God sort of dropped into me, you should be an art teacher. And that was the whole point of why I went to art school. Well, I thought the natural progression was you be an artist and you be an art teacher. There was nothing like you be a successful artist. So I did my teaching degree for a year, and then I moved back to Otaki and got a job teaching, and now I'm in Wellington, and I've had going into my 7th year of being an art teacher. But the thing with that was, that's not my end. That's not what I'm passionate about. I'm not passionate about teaching, to be honest. Teaching art, I would rather be in my own studio creating my own work every day than teaching other people to do it. It's funny, I can be in the classroom and some kids will ask me to help them with their work, and I'll start drawing and helping them, and I don't want to stop. They love it because they think I'm going to carry on doing their work, which I have to restrain myself, but I just get zoned into it. And so again, you know, God takes us through all these processes, and had I not decided to start teaching art, it was when I actually did my teaching degree that I picked up my paintbrushes again and I started to paint. See, I didn't major in painting at art school, I majored in sculpture. So if you look at my paintings from 6-7 years ago, they're not that great. Some people think they are, but I know, man, I was thinking today, I'd love to know how many hours I've spent painting these last 6 years, how many works I've done. I really should have recorded it, but it's thousands. It's exciting, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that God's taking us through every season, and He's built things off me, and we get to a point in our lives where we get frustrated, you know, like, I thought being an art teacher was it, but it's not. That doesn't make me passionate. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I painting outside my work hours? You know, like, I work full-time teaching, that's exhausting as it is, dealing with all these students sometimes, and why am I still coming home and painting? Why am I still driving? Why am I setting up, I've got an art website? Why did I have a solo show this year? You know, why am I constantly thinking of new painting ideas? Why have I signed up to do another show next year? Why am I doing this? What's this about? And when I ask myself, why am I an artist? Why do I do what I do? One, because I'm good at it, because God's called me to do it, because it gives me, as a passion, it gives me a great deep satisfaction. But you know what, the main reason I do what I do is because it brings people joy, it brings people happiness. Man, you know, people come in, when they see my work, like when I have my show, people come in and they love just to be in the presence of my work because it's beautiful, it's uplifting, it encourages them. People see a message behind my work, they see life, they see goodness, they see happiness, and it uplifts them, and that is the greatest satisfaction. I've had people buy my work who are going through things, unpleasant things in their life, and they have told me, I have your works on my wall because it reminds me that there's decent people in this world, it reminds me that there's a hope. And so that kind of stuff makes you want to cry, you know. That is the core of why I do what I want to do. I want to bring life to people, I want to bring encouragement, I want to bring joy and beauty. As a woman of God, the more my relationship grows with God, the more my relationship grows with my husband. I have a beautiful, loving marriage really exceptional marriage, and people tell us that, and that's reflected in my work. If my relationship with God wasn't strong, if my relationship with my darling, wonderful husband wasn't strong, my work wouldn't be bright and beautiful and full of life. So I have so much within me, I have so much hope, I have so much goodness. God has like filled me to the brim of every beautiful thing, hope and love that He is. And when I paint, that spirit that is within me, that joy, that is life, that comes out onto the canvas, that comes out onto in my painting. And whether I realize it or not, and the more I am realizing it, because people tell me, wow, there's something behind your work. You know, I had a lady on the phone to me today who, she's an artist in Wellington, and she just bought a work off me this morning, and she said, you know what, there are many people trying to do what you do, you know, with the painting, the blooms and stuff, but you managed to do it, you're doing it well. Some people, they can't pull it off, but there's something about your work, there's something behind those flowers that you paint. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is a successful artist who I look up to, and I've seen her work, I've used her as an artist model in my classroom, and she's telling me that I can do it. She's telling me that I can pull it off, that she can see something different behind my work that other artists don't have. And you know what that is? That's God. That's the God factor. That's the spirit. That is life. You know, God's created us to live an abundant life. God's given me a talent. He's given me a beauty. He's given me heart. And I feel, well, my why do I do what I do? Because it brings happiness to people, because it brings joy. Every woman in particular who is struggling with their identity, who doesn't feel beautiful, who doesn't feel happy, you know, like every home should have a beautiful artwork in there, so you look at it and you feel uplifted, you feel encouraged, because God is light and God is beauty, and that is why I paint, and that is why what I do, what I want to do, and that's what's going to drive me, you know, that's what's going to keep me painting late at night, that's going to keep, you know, keep me 6 hours straight painting, easy, because what is rewarding is that people are going to put that on their wall, people are going to have God's spirit in their home. My spirit comes through my work, and everyone needs to know God, everyone needs hope, everyone needs joy. You know, it's getting dark out there, it's ugly, I don't like how this world's going, nobody does, if we're going to be honest about it, but you know what, God's created me to stand out, God's created a beauty within me, and I cherish that and I love it, and I'm going to continue to build my relationship with God, continue to build my spirit, the beautifulness within me, be more and more Christ-like, be more of that beautiful, gracious, loving woman that God's created me to be, in order that my work is better, but order that it conveys that message, that meaning behind it. It's not like art school. It's not a deep, meaningful message that you can identify. It's a feeling, it's a spirit, and that's what people get when they look at my work. That's why my work is more successful than other painters and artists out there, because it's got a spirit, it's got soul, it's got oomph behind it. So why do I do what I want to do? Why do I paint? Why I'm an artist? Because I bring hope, because I bring life, I bring yumminess and joy and beauty into people's homes. So that is my why. That's what's going to keep me moving forward. I don't want anyone to live a life that is less than they're created to be. I don't want anyone to be in hurt or pain, or, you know, ripped of their identity, or living in a home that's got no beauty, that's got no joy in life. You know, God's a God of abundance. It's God's come that we may have life in all its fullness, and that's what I'm going to do. That's why I paint. I paint life, and I paint that life in order that it may go into people's homes. So that's why I'm an artist. It's to bring joy and peace into your home. So I hope that this has explained a little bit to you about why I do what I do. Thank you.